Let's discuss with the director of the Vaccine Education Center at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, Dr. Paul Offit. Dr. Offit, thank you so much for joining us. I know as a vaccine expert, and you are one of the best, you're particularly concerned about RFK Jr. leading the nation's health policy. He says he wouldn't take away vaccines, but explain why his skepticism alone is so dangerous.
Well, it's not skepticism. It's cynicism. I would argue that I'm a vaccine skeptic, that everybody who sits around the table at the FDA Vaccine Advisory Committee is a skeptic. Show us the data, prove a vaccine is safe, prove it's effective. He's not a skeptic, he's a cynic. He doesn't believe the data. You can show him reams of data, and he still doesn't believe it. He says that vaccines cause autism, even though dozens of studies say that it doesn't. He said that the polio vaccine has killed more people than it saved. He said that no vaccine is beneficial, even though vaccines have caused us to live 30 years longer than we did 100 years ago. What do you do with a science denialist? I think what you don't do is you don't put them in charge of an agency that's science-based.
The Hawaii governor, Josh Green, spoke to CNN about helping combat a 2019 measles outbreak in Samoa that killed 89 children, that he blames RFK Jr. for that. I want you to watch and listen to this.
We saw dead children. We saw the remnants of that anti-vax campaign by RFK and his organization. We saw devastation. He scared the wits out of everybody in Samoa. There was a lot of health literacy issues. They did not have all the information. If he becomes HHS secretary, you can expect that in America too.
Would you expect more deadly disease outbreaks if RFK Jr. were to get that very, very serious appointment? What could that look like?
It's certainly something one fears. I mean, the Samoa story is an excellent one, because what he did was he kept beating the drum that measles vaccine was killing children in Samoa. He went to Samoa. He met with the president. He wrote letters. He met with anti-vaccine activists. Immunization rates dropped precipitously. The following year, there were 5,600 cases of measles and 83 deaths, mostly in children less than 4. That's what disinformation can do. And Samoa is a small island nation of 200,000 people. We have a country of 300 million people. Imagine what that kind of science denialism and disinformation can do on a much larger scale.
Many Americans seem to be drawn to RFK Jr.'s calls to reform food and drug standards. Are there some parts of his broader message that you might agree with?
Sure. No, when he talks about Kaylee means or making sure that we diet and we eat better foods and that we exercise so we can decrease the rates of obesity or type 2 diabetes in this country and the consequences that follow those disorders, fine. Let's talk about that. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the President's Council on Physical Fitness when I was younger. Let's do that. But please stay away from his science denialism, anti-vaccine activism, and conspiracy theories.
Dr. Paul Offit, thank you so much for joining us.